Guns and gun ownership are some of the toughest issues in American politics. On one side are people who say there are too many guns, too much violence, and too many deaths. On the other side are people who say the Constitution gives citizens the right to bear arms. President Biden recently invoked the Second Amendment to justify new efforts to prevent gun crimes. You can agree or disagree with Biden's proposals, but we wanted to know, did Joe Biden get his history right on the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment, from the day it was passed, limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon.
You commit a crime with a ghost gun, expect federal prosecution. Not just state, expect federal prosecution. This rule is an important step. It's going to sound bizarre. I support the Second Amendment. You have a right. But from the very beginning, the Second Amendment didn't say you can own any gun you want, as big as you want. You ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Question of Mr. Chipman. Who's Mr. Chipman? You're nominated for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives and all kind of other dangerous stuff. Do you believe in private ownership of assault weapons?
Yes,
what do you own, by the way?
That's a pretty private question. I have I'll share the gun I'm proudest of. It's a Smith & Wesson Treasury commemorative gun, and the serial number is my birth date.
Oh, that's cool. Congratulations. Do you believe in banning assault weapons?
I do, sir.
Okay. Define assault weapons.
Assault weapons would be something that members of Congress would define.
Well, how do you define it? You're going to be running the agency.
Senator, I think this is a good question. If I am confirmed as ATF director...
I got 35 seconds left. Define it for me, would you please, sir? What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the bill to ban assault weapons is
what is your
dozens of
definition of
pages.
an assault
There's no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have any, you're going to run this agency and you don't have a definition of assault weapon?
But I would be enforcing the definition that members of Congress
but you're going to be
passed.
issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF
Give me your
currently
definition.
uses. One definition that ATF currently
Give me your definition.
I can give you one definition.
If you want to
that
answer
ATF
my
currently
question, how can I vote for you? I'm done, Mr. Chairman. I don't think I'm going to get an answer.
Mr. Chipman, you have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Ban assault weapons. What the hell you need 20 bullets for? You must be a hell of a terrible shot. There's nothing to do with recreation. You couldn't buy a cannon when, in fact, the Second Amendment passed.
You couldn't buy a cannon.
You couldn't buy a cannon when the Second Amendment was passed.
I'm a warrior. Thanks so much for selling me this thing, man.
No worries, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks,
great.
Alex. This is great.
You're welcome. I'm gonna take the money from the sale and just put it into savings.
Big bucks at the auctions. I thought I'd give him a chance at it. I'm looking to get 50 grand today, and the lowest at this point might be 30. Ready?
Let's talk about the history of the Second Amendment. We'll start with the basics. Here's what the Constitution says. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Over the years, there have been many court cases to resolve whether the Constitution gives individuals a right to bear arms. In 2008, the U.S. Supreme Court said that it does. Setting aside the disagreements over that ruling, and there are many, we reached out to historians and experts who've studied the history of the Second Amendment. They told us there weren't really federal gun laws until the beginning of the 20th century. There were local laws limiting guns before that, but they weren't aimed at criminals. What about owning your own cannon? There was no law banning cannon ownership at the time that the Bill of Rights was passed. We know from historical documents that privateers set sail in the 1800s with their own private cannons, with no documented legal problems. Fast forward to when gun makers started perfecting the manufacture of high-quality, reliable guns. That's when federal gun laws really started. In 1934, for example, there was the National Firearms Act. This was targeted at the machine guns that gangsters favored when they were trying to get around prohibition. So when it comes to the Second Amendment, Biden's history does not get a passing grade. We reached out to the White House for their reaction, but we didn't hear back. Time for the verdict. Joe Biden said the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. That rate's false. And the claim that people couldn't own a cannon, that rate's false too.